So we're sharing with you how many carbs you can and should eat per day to lose weight and keep it off. And that's really the secret here.
So when people can't follow a low carb diet, first of all, we completely get it, and it's not their fault. It's because it's so restrictive.
But what would life be without a bowl of cherries?
I mean, come on, really.
We could not do it.
So when people can't follow it, we completely understand. That's where we come in, because people really struggle because they don't know how to eat. They want to have that balance. They want to have carbohydrates. They want to lose weight, and we can help with that. And one of the permanent secrets to weight loss with carbohydrates is actually having carbohydrates, a specific amount of carbohydrates at each and every meal. The wholesome carbohydrates, a specific amount, and an occasional unhealthy one, just to keep you on track, right?
Yes. So if you're excited, these two registered dietitian nutritionists telling you that you can eat and need to eat carbohydrates to lose weight, because that's what's going to work in your lifestyle, and you're excited about it, great. Now, if you're someone that's panicking and thinking, oh my gosh, every time I touch carbohydrates, I gain weight, don't worry, that's why we're here. We're about to show you some secrets, and we're going to help you. And if you're that person that's carbohydrates cause you weight gain, it's not your fault. You just haven't learned how to eat them correctly in the past. And so we're going to teach you. And there's a few secrets that people just don't tell you, and that's really unfortunate. So the secret is to eating carbs is that at every meal, you need to include 1/2 cup of wholesome carbohydrates. There, I said it.
I was behind your ear saying it too. I was trying to say the
I
same
said it. I shared it, but we've got lots more information to go. Don't run anywhere. I just needed to make sure you left me hanging.
Woo! Okay, so the half cup.
But one more thing.
Okay.
The 1/2 cup, individual needs vary, right? We're talking about in that 1/2 cup of carbs, it's about 15 to 30 grams of carbs for you carb counter. The 1/2 cup, individual needs vary, right? We're talking about in that 1/2 cup of carbs, it's about 15 to 30 grams of carbs for you carb counters. We're not including non-starchy vegetables. So have all the non-starchy vegetables you want. Like, that's fine. But that 1/2 cup of wholesome carbohydrates, it's about 15 to 30 grams of carbohydrates.
And what this 1/2 cup of carbohydrates is going to do is it is going to provide fuel for your brain. And when you don't have fuel for your brain, what happens is you crave a quick pick-me-up. So you crave sugar. So what this 1/2 cup of carbohydrates is actually doing is it's preventing cravings. Also, because you're having carbohydrates at every meal and you know it's coming, it's preventing deprivation as well. Right? So that's amazing. And then the next thing that is really important to long-lasting weight loss in terms of carbohydrates, there are 3 secrets.
Well, I want to just add that 1/2 cup of wholesome carbohydrates is also giving you fiber to keep you regular, prevent constipation, get rid of the gut bulges in your stomach, and it's also giving you nutrients. And so that's not the doughy, and it's keeping you away, it's keeping you satisfied so that you don't crave the sugary carbohydrates. But we realize a 1/2 cup of carbohydrates might sound like a small amount, but when you're including it at a meal, and here's the ticket, ladies and gentlemen, when you are including it at a meal with a satisfying portion of protein, lots of tasty vegetables, and healthy fat, I mean, that's when the magic comes in, because then this carbohydrate, this wholesome carbohydrate becomes a companion. It's giving you that boost, that satisfying boost that keeps you feeling light and won't weigh you down. So now,
okay, so there are 3 more secrets that we have to share about carbohydrates and what is the key to keeping them healthy, helping you with weight loss in general.
So number 1 is that 1/2 cup of wholesome carbohydrates. And this portion is king or queen, however you like to say it, because both. Any more than that amount of carbohydrates is going to make you feel heavy and gain, and will cause weight gain. And skipping carbs completely, that's just going to leave you craving carbohydrates, the simple ones, sugary, doughy, refined carbohydrates. Do you remember a mistake that we made with this carbohydrate whole, with the 1/2 cup portion?
No.
Well,
we've made lots of mistakes. I can't
learn from the science.
We learn from our mistakes.
So that you don't have to suffer. We suffered for you. And we did, right? That's why we're good at what we do. Because we did the suffering for them.
Right. There you
go.
So
we save them, we spare them, we spare you. So what we did was when we first moved to New York, we were working as corporate nutritionists at New York Health and Racket Club. And most days we'd pack a lunch. But a few days a week, or maybe once a week, we'd go and buy lunch, a salad bar, like totally healthy. And what we'd get was tons of vegetables and lean protein, but their carb offerings were just not ideal. There was, I remember, like a big doughy carby like bread roll that we weren't about to eat. We're registered dietitians, or I mean, not that we'd never eat it, but not for our lunch. So we were trying to have a healthy lunch. Or the other option was like, I think they were like, what do they call it? Fruit, caramelized fruit or something like that. It was like fruit with sugar. So we say, you know what? Let's just skip the carb. Let's just have the salad. Well, and normally after school, it was like after school. After work, we'd come home and we'd go straight to the gym to finish our workout. We'd do our weights then. And what happened was every time that we would have the salad with no carbs, we would come home and immediately swing open the freezer door, was where we had our favorite treat, these fudgicles. And we'd have one fudgicle, and one fudgicle would become 3 fudgicles, right? I mean, they weren't high calories, but still, I mean, it was just like to set up this vicious cycle. Craving. And the truth is that when we finished those, and it was hard for us to motivate to go to the gym because our energy had totally crashed. And we fixed this with such a simple fix. We started bringing an apple with us on days when we'd buy lunch, and that apple was our wholesome carbohydrate. And remember, you know, there's many of other wholesome carbohydrates which we will get into, but that was really what kept us on track. And just that one wholesome carbohydrate, it's about 15 grams of carbohydrate. We didn't come home after school and then need after school. I keep saying it. After school, it felt like we were free, like after school. You know, we didn't come home after work and need to have a quick boost. And it made it so easy for us to get to the gym. So that's number 1. Portion is king. That half cup of wholesome carbohydrate. Number 2, and that leads us right into that wholesome carbohydrate. You need to make sure it's a wholesome carbohydrate. And we'll get a little bit more into examples of wholesome carbohydrates. But a wholesome carbohydrate, not a doughy, refined, or sugary carbohydrate that's just going to leave you like with the sugar high and then crashing and craving more carbs. No. That's not it. And
number 3 is don't weigh down your carbohydrates with fatty condiments. So what we saw all the time was with our clients before, who would come to us and they say, you know, I need help. How do I do this? And they're saying, the carbs are making me fat. Well, we'd see they'd have a small whole wheat waffle, say maybe a 100-calorie waffle with their breakfast, and they'd slather on a couple tablespoons of butter. Well, those tablespoons of butter added double the calories of the waffle by themselves. So it wasn't the carbohydrates, that the whole grain carbohydrate wasn't the villain here for adding too many calories. It actually was the butter. Then another example would be a baked potato. And instead of just having this 3-ounce, 100-calorie baked potato with the wholesome carbs and the energy boosting, then putting on the butter and then putting on the sour cream and hundreds of calories at that. So be aware that you want the wholesome carbohydrate to stay wholesome without weighing it down with all the fatty condiments.
Right. And I want to add something. So some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, does everyone just eat that half cup of wholesome carbohydrate? And individual needs do vary. And we certainly have athletes we work with. We have larger individuals. And even some of our weight loss clients, after they've maintained their weight loss for a really long time, that half cup for many of them for a few meals might go up to 3/4 cups. And same with these other individuals. And that's about 45 grams of carbohydrates. And
our athletes, don't get me wrong, our athletes are running
their needs vary,
completely different.
Totally different, like hardcore athletes. But what I will say for most people, if you want to try starting off, that half cup of carbohydrates is king. It is for most women, and for men a little bit more. But you'll notice a huge difference in your results. So that being said, for permanent weight loss, we're looking at this. We're looking at a half cup of wholesome carbohydrates.
With every meal.
With every meal, and no doughy, refined carbohydrates or the sugary ones. On occasion, yes, but not for achieving the weight loss that we're talking about. And then without those fatty condiments, and that's key. And the wholesome carbohydrates, so let's just talk about those just for a moment.
Okay, so these are the ones that contain fiber, nutrients, antioxidants. They are going to be the ones that fight disease, heart disease, cancer. And these are the ones that are quinoa, oats, whole grains, sweet potato, fruits, beans. And beans have protein and fiber and carbohydrates in them, but they fit the bill as well. So it's these wholesome ones that are going to help your health and fend off the cravings, fight deprivation, and fuel your brain.
Right. So there you have it. So what might like a meal look like for someone that's, or a day look like for someone that's eating their carbohydrates in this way? And we'll give you a few examples, and then we'll show you a bunch of our clients' photos where we'll tell you where you can go for those. But for instance, one of our clients, she's lost, I think, 50 pounds, kept it off for 4 years. So that's actually 60 pounds. She's one of her favorite meals is the whole wheat pita pizza. So it's just a whole wheat pita bread. She puts tomato sauce on it. She eats a lot of tofu.
It's not the one that's like this big. It's the smaller.
Right. But still, this is her carbs. You know,
Yeah.
she gets it. She puts lots of veggies on there. She puts a low-fat mozzarella and sometimes a fat-free or low-fat feta on there too, and it's delicious. And you'll see the photos. That's an example of a good meal. So you can go to our website, nutritiontwins.com, and look up how many carbs should I eat for weight loss, and you'll see some of our clients that their meals of what they eat to get that.
Let me just give you one more simple breakfast example, because I think sometimes people get overwhelmed and they don't know what the components are that make a good breakfast. So say, for example, a half cup at breakfast, a half cup of oatmeal with some berries on top, cooked oatmeal, some cinnamon to help also with the blood sugar.
It could be raw.
It could be raw if you wanted. You could do it like a muesli, a Greek yogurt. This is kind of things that people can just grab on the go. It could be that half cup of oatmeal. Put the berries on top. Put some of the nuts on top, a sprinkling of nuts for the healthy fat, and then a Greek yogurt for some protein. And those are just things that, that's an easy one, just so you can grab it. It doesn't require cooking. Grab on the go.
Yeah, it's great. So if you're struggling with weight loss, you do not need to struggle. And if you have any questions, we'd love to help you out. Go to our website, Nutrition, because we're registered dietitian nutritionists. Twins, because we are. We are twins. Then you go to work with us, because we'd like to work with you and help you. And then from there, go to one-on-one, because that way we can have you one-on-one. And then just set up a free call with us so we can help with whatever you're struggling with. And I just want to say, we have this, I want to tell one client's story.
Okay.
We have so many, but the one I'm thinking of, well, you know the client. I don't know if you know what I'm thinking of. Well,
okay. I know.
No, you don't. She doesn't. The twin telepathy, or whatever you call it, she always lets me down. I just have to
It's
let
a
you
sham.
It's a sham. Once in a blue moon, we're on the same page, but usually we're in totally different directions. It's pretty crazy. But the story I'm thinking about with this client, on that first call, she set up that call to chat with us to tell us how she was doing, or what her situation was, to see how we could best help. And she said she had a love-hate relationship with low-carb diets. She loved them because every time she went on them, she always lost weight, and she always lost 20 pounds. But do you know who I'm talking about now?
Yeah, I think so.
No, you don't.
I know.
She's lying to you.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I know.
Holy
I don't think
moly.
I know.
So then the thing is, she said she could only, like most people, like she could only uphold it for a few months, and then she'd go off. She'd want a piece of bread and make her feel like a criminal for eating a piece of bread. But the thing is, she'd eat it, and then she'd go back and realize she liked carbs. So she had this love affair with carbs. It's a constant gaining with a low carb diet, where she'd gain 20 pounds, and she said she'd gain and lost the same 20 pounds probably about 20 times over. So she set up the call with us, and we started incorporating a few of the things that we just spoke to you about now. And I have to tell you, it's now a few years later. During the first year, she'd already met her weight loss goal. And I have to tell you, she lost 25 pounds and not 20 pounds, and she's kept it off. And she eats carbohydrates every day. And something more, she eats carbohydrates at almost every single meal, if not every meal. So if you are struggling with your weight loss, you don't need to struggle. I mean, don't be silly. I mean, who wants to be silly? Don't let life pass you by. You have us two waiting. Like, we want to talk to you.
We're here.
We want to talk to you.
We do.
We want to help you. Like, it is our life calling to help you. In fact, we're really good at it. Not in a bragging way, although it sounds kind of braggy. It's just not. It's not. It's like, truly, we can help you. So go to nutritiontwins.com. Go to work with us one-on-one, and then one-on-one counseling, and schedule your call with us. That's it. And if you struggle with eating carbs, as so many people do, you don't have to. And we've given you some of the tips here, and so you can lose weight.
You can.
And feel good. And this is your time. Like, life can't pass us by. It's too amazing. It's too amazing. And that being said, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye.